Fathers of Reddit, what is the worst boyfriend your daughters have brought home? Who made you say, that guy? Really? Who did you just not like, and why? My sister-in-law brought a guy over to our house, who was actually retarded. She was 25 years old, and brings this guy over, and before she does she says, I really like him, he's simple, we talk about nice everyday stuff, and he makes me feel smart and beautiful. Then you meet him, and damn fucking right he's simple, he's actually retarded. I'm not getting down on retarded guys. In fact, she was decently hot, I guess, so good for him for hitting that, but she didn't fucking realize he was retarded. He was nice enough to us, and we were nice back. Then a few weeks later she tells us she dumped him. We ask why, and she says, I think the painkillers I was taking for my shoulder really messed me up. I didn't realize how stupid he was all that time. Now that I'm off them, I just couldn't stand to be around him. She never once said the word retard, bless her soul. Daughter here. My dad is a drug cop, and I brought a boy home. My dad pulled me aside and said, you're too old for me to tell you what to do, but I interrogated that boy a few months ago and all he did was play the air guitar the whole time. I continued to date him for a few months, then it ended. He rocked that air guitar though. I'm Hispanic and used to have a temper as a teen. Met a girl who seemed to like me, but always tried encouraging me to do stupid shit. Let's race those guys. Woman, no. I love this car, I ain't risking it. For some reason she wanted me to meet her cop dad. So I did. We hit it off over a mutual love of motorcycles and Rush music. And he invited me to a BBQ. The girl hated that her dad loved me. Apparently she wanted him to hate me. She dumped me the next day. I really wanted that BBQ. I'm a daughter who brought home an idiot. He was terrified of my parents because he was an atheist and my parents are Christian. Before he even met them, he'd get drunk and ramble about giving them the what for if they tried to convert him. Yes, I pick winners. My dad is a gentle bear of man and my mum is a little lady. They're an older couple and the nicest people I've ever met. He projectile vomited in the restaurant bathroom before he sat down to eat with everyone for their first meeting. When I moved in with him, he insisted on getting a buzz on before they would visit. When I got really sick, I asked him to take me to the clinic. He declined in favor of band practice. My dad ended up driving down to make sure I was okay and even cooked me breakfast. When he dumped me, because yes, I was too stupid to do it myself, I called my dad crying my head off. He listened to me rant for a few minutes and then said quietly, at least you didn't get pregnant. I will always be grateful for that. Apostrophe. I was the black guy most of the white girls in my high school dated. I was on the debate team and a mathlete, also did track. All the fathers were suspicious of me because I didn't like basketball. This one time my daughter came home and the guy was literally carrying her in his arms when he opened the door. Didn't knock or anything. He also had the arms of another chick around his waist asterisk. I couldn't believe my eyes at tenacity and just utter PDAs in front of me. He gave the one girl on his left a kiss, then put my daughter down and kissed her as well. I didn't know what else to really say at the time, except thanks for bringing her home, and we'll see you at dinner next Wednesday. My daughter then ran up to me and gave me a hug and sat on my lap and told me what they did that day. I sat there in silence just trying to understand it all. After about 2 minutes of this, I told her it was time to go upstairs, that it was bedtime. She cried about it, but I explained to her that 8 o'clock is really late for a 2-year-old to stay up, and she will see her uncle next week when they come for dinner. Asterisk. Can a girl get pregnant from giving a blowjob? Facepalm. I was that girl who brought the bad boyfriend home. He was a German exchange student, and I was at an age where all that mattered was the sexy accent. My stepdad, who worked for the government, did a background check on him because he felt like something was off. I feel like he did background checks on all my boyfriends, but that's a different story. We find out his student visa expired last year and he's in the country illegally. He reports him to his superior. My stepdad gets my boyfriend deported. End of relationship. My daughter had dated a string of some real good kids who had good heads on their shoulders, good prospects for success in life, but dumped each one as just not what she was looking for. She then went through what her two older brothers liked to call the bum of the month club, each one she brought home, to meet me even worse than the last. I was at the point of telling her that she needed to reassess her standards upwards a tad before she really found a true loser who would end up hurting her. She found him. It was bad. She came around. In the end it was his ass getting hurt. However, he thought he was a tough guy and tried to physically harm my daughter after she tried to tell him it was over, which was a huge mistake on his part. This kid was 6 feet 1 inch and 185, wore wiffle beaters, backwards hat and droopy drawers and thought he was a tough guy. White suburban punk. You've seen them. My daughter was a 4-sport athlete her entire school career and had her college education covered by an athletic scholarship. When he showed up at a party she was at even with a restraining order against him and grabbed her arm and wouldn't let go. She hit him so hard flush on the side of the jaw that it tore his left earlobe off of his head, chipped 3 teeth, while putting a hole through his cheek in the process, and knocked him clean out with 1 punch. It was a good thing there were witnesses as she was arrested for aggravated assault when they had to call the squad to take the kid to the ER to patch his ass back together. The charges were dropped. Soon after I got home early that Sunday morning, her brother pulled into the drive after picking my daughter up at the local PD. Her white blouse was brown with the splotchy stains of dried blood. The first thing she said to me was, "Don't worry, Dad, none of it's mine. My little girl." Mercenary-hearted little blue-eyed blonde. One kid she brought home ended up being a stalker, then ended up sneaking into our home at 4 AM after they had broke up. He and I had a short, severely unpleasant little chat. Threats of severe injury may have been discussed. He never showed his face again. Daughter and I were both happy with the outcome. My sister's boyfriends have been consistently pretty stand-up guys post-high school, but she exclusively dated women for about 10 years and brought home some real winners. Andy, the reformed meth cook with a rap sheet a mile long, asked me to buy her Sudafed when she had a cold because she couldn't real grade a girlfriend material. First person I'd call if I was in fear of getting my ass beat by a gang of truckers though. She was the largest and scariest man to ever be born with a uterus. Martha, the former cult member, her parents' fault, not hers. She was like 5 when they joined, but she was a little loopy from it and reformed crackhead. My sister married her during one of the brief periods when gay marriage was legal in Cap, and we all flew out to attend. Great wedding and reception. Divorced a year later. You know that joke about a guy being so bad in bed he turns women gay? Martha was so bad at being a spouse she sent my sister running back to the ranks of the hetero-leaning bisexuals. Her current boyfriend is super nice, easy to get along with, and a really good dad. He also used to work at a brewery and is very beer knowledgeable, which is awesome. Bonus, I will probably never have to come over to my sister's house to tell him to leave, since it's exceedingly unlikely he'll go on a crack binge and start pounding on her door at 2 AM. I appreciate that about him. My daughter, age 16 at the time, I think, once brought home a trailer park hero. Blank glassy eyes, a dead fish handshake, and a mouth that just hung open all the time, aka catching flies. He never wanted to go anywhere or do anything, just wanted her to come to his trailer house, obviously to fool around. I attempted to be polite and speak to the young man, but he could only vaguely nod and answer in monosyllables, and excused himself to leave quickly. The moment he did, I simply looked at her and asked, "Really?" Fortunately, it only lasted another couple of days after that. My beautiful, brilliant, scholarship-winning daughter fell in love with a homeless heroin addict in Portland, or about 10 years her senior. Not too much later, my daughter was also a homeless drug addict in Portland, and he was in jail. We are now 5 months into rehab/sobriety, but she still pines for this piece of shit. WTF did I do wrong? I don't know if this fits the question because she never brought him to my home.